Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Today's guest, oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
How about I just tell you what he's not in?
It'll save us time.
It'll save us some time. BoJack Horseman, Girls, Key and Peele, Arrested Development, The Whitest Kid You Know, Rescue Me. My Lord. And then, of course, when it comes to the stand-up, Conan, Craig Ferguson, Jimmy Fallon. He was from the Awkward Comedy Show. He was on our show about 6 years ago, so we'll see what's new. Chemda, do the introduction.
Oh my God. He's also on a very recent show called Grace and Frankie, which is a Netflix original. Look at me. Do I sound nervous? Grace and Frankie, I have seen it. I'm not kidding. The whole way through. It's 2 seasons, 5 times.
Who are we talking to today?
Noah Boudiquet. Noah Boudiquet from Grace and Frankie, otherwise known as Baron Vaughn.
Well, hello. Is it me you're looking for?
I was so certain that I would fuck up on that name. Of course.
No, I'm happy that you said it so accurately and beautifully.
Thank you. They call him Bud on the show because not everyone is going to go into that.
When people can pronounce your character name, do you feel the responsibility to ask what their fucked up name is?
Definitely. People don't do it, though. People don't do it in the street. Like, I get recognized here and there, but I think a lot of people just assume that they are racist. They're just going like, hey, maybe it's just a black guy. I'm not going to say anything. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. I don't want to say anything.
But that's when your name on the show is great because they either can say Noah Boudiquet or Bud. And either way, like if I'm just like, hey, Bud.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got the wrong guy.
You might just think I'm,
and
being friendly.
If you just say Noah Boudiquet to some random black guy, I don't know. That's like...
Yeah, I mean, it's actually supposed to be a common name up and down the continent of Africa.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Probably every black guy would know that when you say that to them.
Every African black guy, definitely. You just feel like, yeah, Noah Boudiquet, that's basically Michael here.
And how many other black people are in this show?
0.
Do you have to sit down with the writers and kind of help write things? Maybe they don't understand.
I wish that was the case. Okay. Doesn't happen as often as I would like. You know, there's very much a separation between church and state in the way that that Hollywood's is run. The writers stay over here. We never know their names.
Oh, wow.
The actors are over here. We don't know anything until they give us a script that morning. That's not necessarily true of every single show, but there is kind of a system in place that I personally think is totally broken, but... You know.
Why? What would you do? First of all, your character was raised hippie/Jewish.
Yes. Same to some people, am I right? Let my people go.
Hell no, because I was raised Jewish. I wish I was raised like a hippie. Very, very different in some culture. But in San Diego, right? That's where you guys are. Your brother's name on the show is Coyote.
Yeah.
Not a nickname. That's on his birth certificate.
His actual name.
Yeah. At some point, his mother on the show, played by Lily Tomlin, is at the DMV smoking pot. And then she says something about her son Coyote to herself and then goes, huh, that's a weird name to name a kid.
Yeah.
And it's just that kind of show. The first episode, oh my God, I would love to go through every episode with you. I'm not going to do this with you.
I remember them all.
But yeah, right. I probably remember your lines more than you at this point.
That's fine.
Yeah. The first episode has ayahuasca in it right away, pretty much. It has Lily Tomlin doing ayahuasca. And
it might be peyote.
Peyote. I'm sorry, peyote.
Well, you know, some people believe that if all of the spirit plants were a family, that ayahuasca would be the mother and peyote might be the father. So, I mean, I don't mean to get too deep in it.
I didn't mean to misgender.
No, it's totally fine. Oh, yeah. Be careful with your gendered plants.
Yeah.
This is how it started with the writers, and he said, "Do you know that peyote? It's going to be peyote, Baron. All right, we'll mail you the script. Perfect."
Why? What do you think is a disconnect between the character and the work? He plays the most neurotic lawyer that's way too close to his parents, especially his mom. Like, like everything that happens, he's like, "Let me help. I'll do it." You know, hang out with me, parents. Let's go bowling. Very weird.
I mean, and I don't mean to disparage the show, because I don't disparage the show at all. You know, I of course appreciate being on it, and it's an honor to work with Lily Tomlin.
Oh my God.
No, I just think that things are separate, and I understand why, because it's a practical matter of just getting things done. I just think that there's another way to do it. I can't even necessarily say what the way is, Because people go like, well, what do you think? I'm like, actually, I think that we all should, as a group, figure out a brand new way to do this. Because I think it's a system that was created to offset a system from the 70s, 80s.
Are you following Chemda?
Well, but he's saying that the writer and the character disconnect is too large, and it used to be different back in the 70s, right?
I mean, yeah, the writer-actor sort of thing, I think.
Right. But here's the thing. Maybe you're a writer.
I am a writer.
Right. Yeah. But I don't think most actors are. I don't think they know, where their words are coming from necessarily. I think they're doing the acting part. And I think there's some writing and acting in that there's a director directing you, which changes some of the notes on the lines or whatever. And the way that you time things, especially because it's a comedy, is you writing in a way. But
what you are talking about is a little thing called collaboration. That's usually what it's called. So it's like collaboration is hard to do when everyone is separate. You know what I mean? When people are over here and people are over here and then people are over here. But it's like we're all coming together to create a thing. I think that there's maybe more effective ways. And I'm not just saying that about my show. I think that's true about pretty much most shows. Like, I can feel that.
I think because I'm on this side of things, I don't know where the disconnect is.
You would like to be in the writers' room.
Not
why?
necessarily.
To change what? Because the writing in this is amazing.
You would like his character. I'll explain to him. Like his character to be developed more. You know what? He was raised by Jews. Well, where's he from? Who's his being?
Look, because that's the thing. As an actor, you gotta justify what it is that is being put in front of you. You have to connect it all, in some sort of through line. So when there's something that maybe negates something that was in the past, or it kind of changes things a little bit. And you're like, oh, okay, well, this thing happened in the first season.
Of negating?
I can't think of a perfect example, but like, not, like just if somebody, for instance, in the first season ran a marathon.
Okay.
And then in the fourth season is talking about how much they hate marathons.
Right.
It's sort of just kind of like, did they not pay attention to what they did here?
I hate that stuff. I have
But hold
not noticed
on.
any
Let's
of
be
it.
specific. You felt this happens with Grace and Frankie.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying that, like, these are the things that can happen. And these are the things that, because what I'm saying is
in
that
the second season, you're not black anymore.
I would just stop being black. I mean, because it also depends on what a person thinks acting is. So it's like it's not as simple as, here are some lines, say them. You have to, like I said, you have to make a through line. You have to kind of justify and connect all the different dots.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the people on this, the actors are amazing, and I think they definitely some of the lines are so simple, and I'm like, you definitely, as the character, did that to the scene. You definitely did that. And my husband is obsessed with your character. He thinks that you. And I think he's hoping that your character is developed, because I think I know what you're talking about, only based on this, is dropping hints, and then we're hoping that the third season lets us know a little bit more about your background, because every character is getting sort of like an episode or two to know their background. I think yours is the one that's a little bit more up in the air.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's talking about. Give me some more lines.
Well, it's just to kind of like, they have their the show's called Grace and Frankie, so they have to focus on Grace and Frankie. So it's like, and that's kind of one of the things that happens sometimes, is that, we don't know what's going to happen a lot of the time until we are there, until we see a script. And by the time we see a script, there's already been 5, 6, 7 different drafts of it before it gets into our hands.
Do you send the writers gifts?
I send them gifts.
Of cats.
I send them just cats with lasers shooting out of their eyes.
With my jokes on them.
I'm like, here's a gif of the Magi. You know what I mean? And then they say, never talk to me again.
Right. We write funny things.
Yes.
I say you do it. I say you send some chocolate-covered strawberries for Christmas. All that stuff.
I actually have sent gifts. Like, people like buy each other, like, we have food trucks come to the set sometimes, or like an ice cream truck, or like a coffee truck.
You'll buy them an ice cream?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
no,
fascinating.
I buy them an ice cream truck.
Oh, okay.
That stays there for 2 hours, and everyone can go get as many
so
chocolate
cool.
sundaes as they want.
That's cool. That's when you know you've made it.
Yeah.
2-hour ice cream truck for the cast and crew.
Oh, that's fantastic, because he didn't bother to check that all the writers are lactose intolerant.
Yeah, but he got a modern truck, which has vegan options.
Which has ice cream with a K.
Yeah. I mean, he was raised hippie. Hold on.
Come on. Holistic ice cream.
Yeah.
And how exciting is this? You'll be the voice of Tom Servo in the
yes.
remake of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Tom Servo, of course, is the gumball machine robot.
Yes.
Right? How very exciting. Now, do you watch these movies and then And then, of course, write jokes about them. Do you have to watch these piece of shit movies?
Yes, of course. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the other thing is...
I mean, did they edit it down for you and then you make your jokes?
Yeah, they do edit it down to like a 70-minute cut.
Okay.
And then we the process is actually really fascinating and interesting. First of all, there's a lot of nerves on my end from stepping into this role of Tom Servo because...
The show's iconic.
This show is very iconic, and the fan base is as voracious as Doctor Who or Star Trek or Star Wars.
Wait, who?
Yeah, Doctor Who.
What?
HU, Doctor Who.
Ha.
First name Kelly. But they're...
When you get that Chemda air horn as a comedian,
Yeah.
is that a compliment?
It's definitely a compliment.
Okay.
I call it the chemtrails.
Thank you for understanding me, Baron.
Yes, of course. I'm stepping into an iconic role that is very much loved by nerds. And as you might know, nerds are so open to change. Oh, my goodness. Change something they love from their childhood. Put all women in it. They'll love it. And leave everyone alone on a personal level. So there's that kind of nervousness from me where I'm just kind of like, ugh. But what people don't understand is that the show is really built on the chemistry of the three people, which is going to be me, Jonah Ray, and another comic.
Was Tom Servo originally black?
Joel said to me he felt like Tom Servo always wanted to be black.
Okay.
So I am Tom Servo's
What?
greatest dream.
So you have the blessings.
Yes, I got all the blessings.
Okay.
What the fuck?
What? Why?
I think that was funny. I also now like that you mentioned, put all women in it, and they get very excited.
Yeah.
I wonder how the protest would be like. Wait, he wasn't black.
Honestly, like people, that's been said. Just kind of like a black guy. Why? Like the head writer of the show is a guy
sure,
who was on
yeah.
the Daily Show, and people are like, no politics in my MST3K. Like it's just people get very upset.
Right. I forgot that it's the internet.
It's the
Yeah.
internet.
They'll get upset over anything.
It's just kind of like when they recast Batman, nerds are always never bad about it.
Is it a shame that you can't do movies that just came out? Like you guys won't be able to do Suicide Squad, for example, because it's probably too recent.
Well, Keith, there is a methodology, I think, to the way that these movies are, because there's a glut of horrible sci-fi and horror movies from the 60s and 70s and 80s because a lot of people thought they could make money and these things were easy to make, and they are not easy to make.
Right.
And so the thing about, I think in the 90s, I think people figured out that if their movie is bad, they'll just edit it, just like quick cut. So there's not space for there to be jokes because there's always action happening. There's always something happening. And a lot of these movies, there's these weird long pauses where it's just a shot of somebody walking down the hallway for 15 seconds. And you're like, why? Why? I don't need this person walking down the hallway to a nonsensical place. So there's also this feeling of the people that made these movies genuinely thought it was going to be good.
But why is it? I'll see an action movie. It ends up sucking balls.
Yep.
And my friends will laugh at me. What did you expect? It's summertime. I guess all the Raiders go into hibernation during the summer. It's special effects.
Did you send them a GIF?
Special effects are the hard part, right? The writing, you can pay a writer 10 cents.
Well, but that's the thing. I think that something like Suicide Squad's a perfect example of like writing by numbers.
By the way, you hear that, writers?
Yeah.
Well, it's true. A cup of coffee, you'll get somebody starting out that can write a good movie. If you know how to explode a plane, I would think that's the trouble.
Is the exploding the plane what makes a movie good to you?
No, it's half. There's exploding the plane, and then there's writing. And the writing, you can always get a writer. I don't know how to explode a plane.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Like, we all learn how to write so you can kind of...
I'm a writer. I'm not putting down writers, but you can get them to... There's no excuse to have terrible writing. There's no excuse.
And that, again, kind of points towards, to me, a system that is broken because they don't know any writers anymore. They just only know the people that they already know, that they already trust, that already wrote a movie, that already made money. So it's just sort of like... It's as simple as Hollywood executives going like, you know what pizza like? You know what people like? Pizza. You know what else they like? ice cream. Put ice cream on the pizza. It's going to be amazing. And then everyone's like, this is horrible. Why did you do this? They're like, I don't know. The numbers were great. We said we were going to put pizza on ice cream. We surveyed like 4-year-olds, and they were like, it's great. I don't understand why it didn't make money. In the international market, though. In the international market.
When I was 4, I had thought of this, and now that I'm an adult, I was able to make it. You're welcome. What's the problem? I don't get it. What's the problem?
Exactly.
But it's like, just as there are bad writers, there are or writers that keep repeating themselves because they know and they know them. The same thing. You can't really break into acting because they're using the same actors.
It's a lack of trust in a lot of different ways. I feel like that's what Suicide Squad is a perfect example of. I feel like there was a bunch of executives who were like, this movie has to make $1 billion in the first week, and they're just sniffing, down the throat of whatever director or whatever writers they have, so there's no trust.
So you moved to LA 5 years ago.
5 years ago, yeah.
To make it as an actor.
Pursue the actings.
Right. So how did you break into any of it? Was it hard? Was it like
affirmative action?
Yeah, the action was totes affirms.
Hollywood is very affirmative action.
I got I got cast on a show out of New York called Fairly Legal, which no longer exists. It was on the USA Network, who ironically shoots most of their shows in Canada. And so I moved to LA so I could be closer to Vancouver. And so like I got very lucky, very fortunate with that job, and so that was sort of the thing that if you will broke me into, because once you're tried, then you're trusted, So then nobody wants to take a chance on anybody that hasn't been used until somebody else does it first.
Right.
That's what the trick always is. That's why it's a catch-22.
Is it weird to ask you then who took a chance on you and why did that happen?
Well, first of all, ABBA took a chance.
And that's what got you in the door. You'd keep singing that.
I keep singing, and people are like, a black guy that knows ABBA. This is something we've never seen before. And I was just kind of like, I also know the musical Chess. And they were like, now get out.
Is that real?
Yeah. Do you know the musical Chess?
No.
Oh, it was written by the 2 dudes from ABBA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a Cold War musical. That tells you a lot right there.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, there were some songs from it that were on the radio. Like One Night in Bangkok. Do you know that song?
One night in Bangkok makes the heart grow fonder.
That's from a musical called Chess.
Oh, I do know the musical called Chess.
Full circle. What the heck were we
So
talking
ABBA
about?
gave you a chance.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just like, again, like this is another reason I think sometimes the systems are broken. Systems be broken. I don't think
Well, we know what we're calling the show.
Yeah, casting directors, I don't think that they're given enough authority a lot of the time with who they want to bring into a room. Right. Their decisions can be undermined over and over and over again. So my fortune was having a handful of casting directors in New York who liked me and saw something and were like, I'm just going to keep bringing this dude in until somebody decides that he's good, like I already think. And then that's what ended up happening.
So a lot of rejections?
Of course. There's still a lot of rejection.
Yeah?
Because for every job you get, there's 1,000 jobs you didn't.
You're still auditioning for stuff?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think auditioning's broken. Hey, I'm super positive.
How do you mean by that?
Here's what an audition is. They give you the sides, right? The piece of the script from the movie or TV show that you would be doing if you booked the role. Right. And they go, learn that. So you go into a room and you are not on a set and not a costume with not an actor and not a shot. And then you do the exact script that they want you to do if you were to get it, because they want to see how you do. Right. But it doesn't make any sense. It actually doesn't tell you whether or not that person can act, because acting is not just talking to a person off the camera. It's reacting to another person, usually also in the scene.
Do they deliberately have you read against when you read with somebody, somebody in the casting room?
Usually a casting director or an assistant.
And they talk so monotone. Is it because they don't have the skill, or are they deliberately fucking you?
It's both sometimes.
Right. So wait, just to get the picture, you're on camera. There's a person off camera reading the other half of the script, the dialogue. So
I cannot believe that you have cancer.
Ah, Dad.
And you have to start crying.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's sort of a very inaccurate way to see how somebody will do when it's the day.
But one might say, I have a feeling you're going to say it's inaccurate.
That's fine.
But it's on brand. One might say that, like, you're an actor, so it doesn't matter what's across from you. just say the lines like you thought.
And I think that that's an inaccurate idea of what acting is. Acting is not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. Acting is a scene with another person who's also in the scene.
I saw porn earlier today. It's a 5-way street sometimes.
Yeah, hey, boom. Sometimes it's Bukkake Avenue.
Did you boycott the Oscars? Because I didn't see you.
Yeah. I didn't watch them. That's as far as I went. I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna watch the Oscars. I mean, the Oscars is the greatest, self-back-patting, self-congratulatory thing.
Right.
It's somehow
more than the Emmys, the Grammys.
It's basically a commercial for movies that is also a 2-hour-long commercial that always goes over. Right. So it's like it's
flawed.
It's flawed.
Hey, is the system broken?
I think the system. If there's one hashtag, the system is broken. If there is a system.
So, do you hope to, gain a little bit more presence and whatever notoriety in the acting world to hopefully transcend this to? Maybe make your own movie or your own show, get writers and actors in the same room. Is that a goal or is that not?
Definitely. That's definitely what I want to do. I mean, I have a toe in every pie, and I only have 2 toes. You know what I mean? Or 10. I don't remember how many toes. I forget anatomy. A toe in every pie. That doesn't even make any sense.
Your character's a lawyer, not a doctor.
That's true. Damn it, Jim.
Or a poet, apparently.
Definitely not a poet. Definitely not Mary Shelley.
By the way, I'm going to watch this whole series again, only looking for inaccuracies in Baron's character. Expect a lot of texts from me.
That's
fine.
I
get it. It's broken.
That's fine. No,
I'm going to
because
start hating the show because of it.
But the things that, again, at the same time, it's like I can't. I try not to cast blame because I understand why things go the way that they go because
everyone's fearing their jobs. Let's be honest. You don't make a hit.
There's a lot of that. But also, it's like. These things are in this way, so that way there's a sort of a predictable way for things to get done on a timeline. So I understand it, but at the same time, the things that they think if we don't do it this way, it won't get done in time. I disagree. I think there's a lot of ways to do things and still hit your deadlines.
When on Rotten Tomatoes you see a movie gets 0%, and you're not in it,
which is pretty much every movie.
Is that so fun? Because I'm not acting, and it's so fun for me. This movie is new. It's called The Disappointments Room. It's the director of Eagle Eye and Disturbia, 2 movies I love.
Oh, my goodness.
0%, and it has real actors and actresses in it.
How could it be 0%?
How can it? No one liked it, even them.
Both Eagle Eye and Disturbia both have Shia LaBeouf in them, don't they?
And this one doesn't.
Or Shia, I forget which one it is.
Yeah.
Shiite LaBeouf. I think that there's as much to learn, sometimes more to learn from a horrible movie than there is from a good movie.
Oh, is that the positive news today?
I think horrible movies are so educational because sometimes watching something and how did this go wrong? Like when you watch Our Country, you go, how is this going wrong? It gives you ideas of how it could go right.
So not only is Mystery Science 3000 going to be funny, it's a master class.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly right.
I do want to go back. I'm thinking something else is Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye is the one with the robot, right? Taking over? That was stupid.
Eagle Eye, it is. It's about surveillance.
Yeah.
And, our addiction to we got to make sure we know who's doing what so that way horrible things don't happen. But then everyone's being watched and we're like, oh, we gave up all our civil liberties. Is it worth it? I don't know. Orwell.
Oh, is that deep? I was sleeping. What's the movie where Jake Gyllenhaal? Eye in the Sky was great.
Wow, Danny.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Record time.
Well, see that one. That's my point of all this.
All right. Uh-oh.
See Eye in the Sky.
I see the picture you have in your hand.
You're all puffed up.
Yeah. I look like Danny Glover and Dick Tracy's Warren Beatty.
You have terrible...
Or Warren Beatty's Dick Tracy.
You get terrible allergies. You get what? You get hives and everything.
That's 15 minutes after eating peanuts.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Hey, how's it going?
Like what? You don't know? You don't. How old are you?
Oh, goodness.
In that picture?
Yeah.
That's just a couple months ago.
Yeah. What's your age?
Oh, I'm 35. Yeah.
Okay. You don't know you can't eat peanuts by now?
I didn't know I was eating peanuts.
What do you think you're eating? Just delicious, crunchy butter of some sort.
It kind of was a paste that was mixed in with a bunch of different things.
Okay.
I thought I was having, because it was like this vegan restaurant, and I was like, cool, don't need to worry about my allergies. And then I ate.
Vegan of all things, that's peanut butter heaven.
Yes.
Sorry, Baron.
Now I know. And knowing is half the battle.
Like
Thank
only,
you.
G.I. Joe.
Like only dummies don't know. Oh, sorry, Baron.
Oh, yes, that's true. I was a dummy, and then a magical hat was put on my head, and I came to life. Anyway, that's today's special.
That doesn't even look like you in the picture.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know it was you.
Yeah, exactly. And all I could feel was my face inflating like a hot air balloon, and then sweating balls and just hives all over my body, just itchy McScratchy.
Who were you with? Because you're in public, and now your
Yeah,
face
I was
is
at a
blowing
show.
up.
I literally had eaten peanuts, then went on stage and
No.
started to break out in hives in the middle of my set.
No.
Yes.
And what do you do? Walk me through this. I wish I was there.
I came off the
Sorry.
stage. I could feel. I've had hives enough now that I know what it feels like when it starts. It all starts in the pubes. It starts as an itch in the pubes.
You shut up. You're just scratching your balls.
I'm
on stage.
serious. It's a very specific itch that I've like, I know what that is. And then I start to feel it like a splotch above my lip. And then I'm like, Then I start to feel it in my neck. And then it starts to kind of swell all over my body. And so I was on stage, and then I get crazy sweaty right away. So I was on stage doing a set, and then I was like, I know what's happening. And then I got off stage, and Maria Bamford was there, and I said, is there a growth on my face? She was like, yes. And then I went into the bathroom, and I was like, And then I got in an Uber, went home, texted my girlfriend, I'm going to need 3 Benadryl the moment I walk into the door. And she was like, I walked in, she was like, oh my goodness, take a cold shower.
My boyfriend's coming over soon. You should know.
I don't know who you are.
Oh my God, that's right.
But get out. Why do you have keys? Why did you steal my boyfriend's clothes?
What's the Wi-Fi password coming up on your phone?
So no one was responding to.
I just got out of there before I started getting really bad.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a show, so you're off the stage and the lights are low, so you can't really be seen that well. And I just knew I needed to get the crap out of there before I started looking like people were like, oh my God, he's a werewolf. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Again, you're a very smart person. I admire you a lot. Do you have an EpiPen on you?
I do have an EpiPen.
Now.
Yes. No, I usually do. I didn't then at that exact moment. Peanuts actually don't give me anaphylaxis. Dairy does.
Oh, I see. So you're not. So when you're swelling up, you could be fine. You just need.
That was why I wasn't that worried because of my throat, my windpipe was fine.
Okay.
My skin, my face, that actually lasted for 30 hours. Because apparently, if you break out, it's like in the deep tissue of your face. So like I woke up and I was still puffy the next day.
You ever see my brother? Mm-hmm. I know he was trying to lose weight. Not that he was fat or anything, but he was trying.
No. Let's be clear.
Oh no! Here's what it was. His friend.
No one in his family is fat.
Okay.
His friend who is fat. Kind of always makes it worse. By the way.
That's fine.
Ouch! He's gonna hear that oofa. So this guy was losing weight.
Yeah.
So he would feed. He would try to encourage my brother to eat.
Eat what?
Just to eat, like eat shit because I can't. And I don't know if it's to see him, but it's why I bring that up is because you can't eat dairy, and you're buying ice cream trucks for people.
Well, I mean, ice cream truck is an example. I didn't buy the ice cream truck.
Lies unfolding.
I had a Vietnamese Vietnamese food truck.
Okay.
A pho truck. People are like, let's go, what the pho?
Whenever it's time for you to be here, you text us.
Yeah.
And you say, do you have any pets?
Yeah, I did. I
Perfect.
did ask that.
Great timing, A.
Yeah.
B, are you allergic to pets as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny that you ask.
I'm allergic to cats and dogs and perfume and cologne.
But it was 11:15 when you asked me. You were supposed to be here at 11:15. What if I said there are pets here?
Other than I have a Benadryl in my pocket.
So you just wanted to know if to bring the Benadryl.
I was going to slip myself a Benny. Sweet, sweet Benny.
Wait, let's go back a second.
Mm-hmm.
You have a girlfriend.
Yes.
I hear that you are poly.
Yes.
Yes, you speak pretty openly about it.
I have, yes.
And I love your philosophy on it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a podcast that you...
I love it too, bro. Fuck yeah.
Please. He's married in a monogamous...
You say with that smile, it's so devious.
It is.
You're like a devious maid.
I'm married, but I'm one of these feeders. I'm like, keep fucking, bro. What happened?
Tell me more. Tell me more.
I do believe that the more people talk about, and I hate calling it alternative, but an alternative to what we've been taught growing up, just generally, in general, about drugs, about love, about everything. I think the more we talk about it, the more options people seem to get that they have. And I think more people are poly, more people are not that interested in getting married, even if they are fully in love. So thank you for talking about it. So when you say girlfriend, do you have an open relationship?
Not right now.
Okay.
Because I'm still learning what it means to have a girlfriend.
Okay.
Just to be in a relationship. Because polyamory, monogamy notwithstanding, the structures are not as important as the people that you are involved with. And what I have found is that people are difficult because we all have our baggage, and there's not enough room for everybody's baggage on the flight to Love Land. That's just me going too far with the metaphor. But
if you can see the bins are full overhead, so to speak.
Exactly. It's like, I'm going to need to gate check that bag. It's like, oh, can I get it at the gate? No, you're going to need to go to the actual baggage claim. Son of a, I thought I was going to save time.
But I feel like people, most guys probably respond the way Keith does. Like, yeah, get yours.
Yeah.
And most women might think that you're just a player trying to justify your bullshit.
Yeah. Which is fine, because that shows you what the issues of the people reacting are. Keith.
Who we looking at, married, monogamous, excited for somebody's poly life.
And I don't
he's like, why can't people grow up and understand my lifestyle? Are you doing it right now? No, I'm trying to figure out what a girlfriend is. Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
But that's totally it, because it's just sort of like, look, it's all filled with such confusion, because it's like, I'm saying, like, people are hard. What it means to actually be in a relationship is difficult. I guess the thing is that, like, monogamy is not an effective substitute for dealing with your issues. And I think that that's my problem with it, is culturally mandated monogamy, where people kind of judge you and think you are less than if you're not doing this one-size-fits-all philosophy to how things are supposed to be. It's just an idea. It's not – monogamy is just another option. It's not the be-all, end-all true way of doing things. And it works for a lot of people, and it doesn't work for a lot of other people. Same with polyamory. Both of them have their problems.
Same with monogamy, though, because people say, I'm monogamous, then they get divorced, then they cheat on their spouse, they disrespect their spouse in public, their girlfriend, their boyfriend, whatever. And I don't understand the difference between being openly poly and very honest with your person, or saying that monogamy is the only way, but then you're cheating, and then you're extra flirting when you know that, like, your intention is fucked up, but you didn't cross a line. And then there's all these, like, I don't want to talk about this, but I do want to be, you're everything, but I don't want to talk about everything. Like, this is what we're pushing as an agenda to 5-year-olds, buying them wedding dresses, talking about, do you have a boyfriend? Are you marrying him? Shit like that. While we're talking to 5-year-old boys, going like, you're going to get that. Even as a 5-year-old, if you see people talking to little children, they're like, they already sexualize them, and they already give them the
people
roles.
Say to 5-year-olds, go get that?
In honestly, in certain ways, yes.
Get it.
Yeah.
You get it, son. No, but you're right. The indoctrination starts early. And that's what I think is dangerous about it. Like, anyone who is that certain about anything is suspicious to me. You can't, like,
question everything. That's my religion.
These are the contradictions that we live inside of every life. That we live inside of every day. That's the contradictions of life. So it's just sort of like, these discussions are what I think are important.
But what's happening right now that you're not out there crushing it? You're trying to get to know this one woman more?
I think I am crushing it with this one woman.
No,
yeah,
good for you. I mean,
definitely.
She's got to be sore. But I mean, how come you're not following this?
Boinks.
So you gave yourself this immoral out. How come you're not taking advantage of it?
Wait, did you say amoral or immoral?
You know what I said.
I did.
A plus moral. Yes,
oh, amoral. Well, because it's like, I'm trying to figure out, like, just being with a person, and it doesn't mean just like being with one person, but just like when you are trying to actually have real intimacy with somebody. Right. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck that means, because I thought I knew what it meant, but I didn't know what it meant.
Do you know how to describe what you thought it meant?
Yes and no, because the thing is that, like, I, like any person alive, have a multitude of issues that I was wholly ignorant of and unaware of. And isn't it funny, maybe 5 years ago you were like,
shedded so many issues. How many more could there be? And then it's like, oh my God, I'm still not done.
There's a lot. It's constant work, like there's no easy answer, because you're still taking in the rest of your life. Like things are still happening. You're still, interacting with people. New events happen that remind you of old things or just give you completely brand new issues. So it's just a constant negotiation with oneself. Negotiation. It's just a constant negotiation. I don't know why I went to British accent right there. With oneself. So it's like I am figuring out what it means to be with a person at all.
Is she into the poly lifestyle?
Not as much as I am, definitely.
You are and she's not, like that?
It might be as simple as that. Yeah, it might be as simple as that. And I'm agreeing with her to do it this way while we're together. And perhaps it'll change, perhaps it won't change.
Right.
So if that means that we're going to have to walk our separate ways, so be it. But that's the other thing that
Do you know you won't be in love enough where it can be just her, or it can be just her regardless?
Yeah, I don't think those things are mutually exclusive.
Okay,
that's the thing.
But do you know you have to be with more than one person? And
I don't have to be. That's the thing. It's not like a requirement,
right?
But
knowing you.
No, definitely. I mean, it's not like
well, if you knew yourself a certain way 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you're so different now, even though you're the same person, people recognize you. How would you know where you're going to be in 5 years?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
But you got an idea if he's.
I think you have an idea.
Can you see yourself not being in a poly relationship for an extended period of time?
I'm still figuring that out.
Okay.
I mean, I have that. That is what's been happening. So I have been in a monogamous relationship for extended, about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think extended is like 3.
Oh, okay.
I think a year is a lot because most people don't make it to that, honestly.
It's the way people say a couple years is 2 years. You know what I mean? No, it's a couple.
I mean, we've been together for 2 years, but we've been monogamous for a year.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
MJG is writing in about what I was saying earlier about sexualizing little kids. Thank you, MJG. As a man with a 7-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl, it makes me extremely uncomfortable when people talk about them dating or being lady or guy killers when they grow up. It's more common than you'd think, and it's weird every time.
Yeah, I remember when Chemda and I would do kids' parties, and I think it was that, unless it was just a friendly party, because I forget when to perform and when not. But anyway, we were at somebody's place, and the daughter, very young, but you can tell she was going to grow up and be very beautiful. And the mom would say, listen, I don't want anybody to say that my daughter's beautiful because people do it enough. They always say, oh, you're going to be killing it out there, et cetera. It's like, I need her to use her brain.
Wow. Isn't that so interesting that she has to tell strangers that just entered her house? Wow.
Yeah. So I'm doing a kids party, and I'm like, let's bring up the ugly birthday girl.
You know what's weird about that? Especially,
Hideous. Happy hideous birthday.
First, it's you recognizing this girl. You recognize what other people are seeing. Like you said, she is going to grow up to make people feel a certain way. And then you're like, ew, why am I even thinking that?
Well, but that's the thing is that it's all loaded, because here's the thing about parents. They're people. They're people who...
come on. Stop breaking everything.
Who also...
The system is just horrendous.
It's the system. It's the system.
Can't we do tests on
judicial
things?
system. I'm quoting Dana Carvey now. Parents don't know everything, so it's like they're blocked on certain things. And if you can look at a child and be like, oh, she's going to be beautiful, that means that you are already loaded with a bunch of cultural assumptions of what beauty is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to feel. And that little boy is going to somehow fit all of these criteria to be
but it's
beautiful.
It's very difficult to get out of because that is everywhere. And as much as we can, leave our minds open and... It's
cultural programming, and it's there. It's always there, like a cat o' nine tails, kind of whipping us in the face all the time.
You hear that, children? You're ugly. You're all ugly.
That's better.
Learn
That's
some
better
shit
poetry.
in school.
Is your girlfriend beautiful?
Because
what is it? Because what does that mean?
Well, no, but that is actually an important point because she's mixed race.
Okay,
and so for her, because she hasn't fit a standard of beauty or hasn't been easily racially identifiable, because part of her family, like the Mexican side of her family, was like, you're white, and the white side of her family is like, you're Mexican. So both of her sides of her family were racist to her.
wow.
In that sort of way. And And
then people outside were probably not. You're not really Mexican.
Well, people are constantly coming up to her speaking other languages, like just assuming. Because people, when you're mixed race, people want to claim you. If you're kind of miscellaneously brown, people are like, "What are you? Are you me?
Right.
You're not me. You're not me."
Oh my God! I was just talking to my brother Andrew about this. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I went to the local bodega, and they're Indian. And I can always tell, and a lot of brown people behind counters here, and so they always want to know what kind of off-white I am, and so and because I match their complexion a lot of times, and so they're like, and I could tell they're just like, just say you're from my country, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know what country you're from, like I can't tell. That means like no one else is gonna be able to I can't even tell my own people,
They say, what's the better salad? Israeli salad, Arabic salad. Oh, they're the same. Now, I'll pick one.
But the thing is Andrew and I were talking about how you're about ready to disappoint them because you're not necessarily exactly from, the off-white that they're from. And you're just like, and you also, not only can you disappoint them as an Israeli, as like somebody who grew up Jewish, I could really just be their, quote, enemy. So you're asking me where I'm from, and I'm like, fuck, man, like...
Let me check the paper and see what's okay to say.
Yeah, I mean, they're Palestinian, and I'm going to say I'm from Israel. Like, come on. So
I'm from a country that doesn't exist, I understand. Can I just get my falafel?
Yeah, sorry about the borders, man.
I really feel awful for you, but can I get my falafel?
Yeah. So a lot of times I just go broad, and Andrew says he does the same thing so that he could try to match what they're doing.
What do you mean broad?
Broad, like I'm from the Middle East. I'm from Mediterranean.
And then they want to know, but then they ask follow-up questions, don't they?
They do.
Yes, exactly what part?
They do.
East Middle East or West Middle East?
Yeah, they do, but at least the camaraderie starts from the Middle East, Right. These guys were...
Do you ever say, I don't know, really? The Uber just took me from your mom's house?
Yes.
Okay, so that shuts them down, right?
Well, these guys were Indian, which is like just not anywhere near where I'm from.
Right.
So they're like, I said I'm Israeli. They stare like, what do we do now? And I'm like, give me my seltzer. Like, who gives a shit?
Chemda was at the store the other day. She said, aren't we all citizens of the world? Grabbed the seltzer, ran out the store. You still can't go down that block.
Smoke bomb. It was just like, she disappeared. Wow.
But then all they say to me, they pause. I swear to God, it felt like a minute. They're just staring at me, and then they go, you look Indian. And I'm like,
I'll look it up.
Wow, thank you. What else am I going to say?
I mean, and it's a compliment,
Of
just kind
course.
of, you look like someone I might have liked.
You look like someone my mother would have made me
Now
marry.
I don't like you because I know you're not me.
And that's the thing. I'm just like, no, we're still cool. Like, we're still doing this interaction. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she could look Middle Eastern. She could look, she also has a lot of Native American in her, and Mexican, which is also just native. So it's just like there's a lot of native, North American, culture in her DNA. But that could also looks a little Middle Eastern to some people. It looks a little Arabic to some people. It looks a little, like Brazilian to some people. It looks Greek to some people.
It's like a sci-fi movie. You see what you want to see.
That's exactly right. And what you see is informed by how obsessed you are with what you have been told already.
Right.
All right, good pause.
You look Indian.
Do I?
No,
Right, perfect.
that's after the pause. Thank you.
Let's do this could be good news, this could be bad news.
Oh, no.
Let's have a Chemda cancer update.
Oh, Jesus.
As you...
I don't have cancer.
Okay, update complete.
Yet. The doctor said I don't have cancer yet.
Well.
Did he say yet? Did he pause and go, yet?
You know what?
Smoke pellet, and then left. You're like, oh, my God.
And your seltzer was gone?
It truly was Dr. Oz.
So last time we talked, Chemda found out that the mass is not connected, correct, to the lungs or the heart.
To the heart. I'm not sure that they understand if it's connected to the lung. You see, because here's the thing. My husband, Hennessy, I said, please don't take the call by yourself because I know that he fucking positives it up. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, please just put it on speaker. I can handle it because I cry every time the doctor gives me news because I have a tumor.
The phone rings, Chemda cries.
Yeah, but it's
Crying
like,
is fine.
Yeah, but just whatever.
I know, but if you're in a poly relationship and you got 5 criers everywhere you look, I
Well,
don't
you don't
know.
have 5 tumors.
That is actually really true of poly people. Poly people tend to be big criers.
Yeah, and they all get their periods at the same time, and they all get tumors at the same time, and you have to deal with everything all at once.
Their tumors sync up.
Yes, it's really nice of them. So as time passes, I'm like, what did he say exactly? And he said, because originally I heard it's not cancer, and then he added yet, and I'm like, did he say yet? And you're just now telling me? And then
your husband's telling you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got secondhand news.
I don't like that.
No, it's horrible.
You know, I really don't.
Especially in a situation where you want to know what the actual facts are.
Yeah, but I let it go because he's going through something also. And I don't think I should forget that like the panic when he sees the call, like all the same stuff that I think I'm going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so whatever. And I'm seeing the doctor again this week anyway, so whatever. So what's the point? Oh, so it's not attached to my heart. They don't know if it's attached to my lung. I might lose some of my lung. Now, before everyone reacts to that.
No, I'm okay.
I'm okay.
People live off one lung.
Yeah.
I am not okay.
Thank you, Baron.
Or that's a kidney. I'm not sure. But either way.
No, people live off one lung
Yeah.
and still will be able to lead a very active life. They might not have to take the whole thing. This is very worst case scenario. This is very like if they find something out last minute, it is attached. They could also take a piece. They don't have to take the whole thing. I don't think that this will be, I'm about to go through some shit. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's like how much of an option that is right now. Because again, I wasn't on the call, so I couldn't ask.
Right.
So, and I think he's just like, they're just saying they have to tell you all the stuff that could happen. But I'm like, yeah, but they didn't say that they could see that it wasn't attached to the lungs. So you got to tell me shit like that because I don't want bigger bombs. I don't want to believe that.
Right.
Things are okay, and then go, by the way, we took out some of your lung. Well, who the fuck?
I call Chemda every day, and I said, you're going to die. And so nothing.
So that way when it doesn't happen, you're setting her up.
Oh,
I should bet him every day.
So sensitive.
Oh, you're taking a piece of my lung? I was told I was going to die.
And then what you do is you get that Janis Joplin song, Take Another Little Piece of My Heart, and you superimpose your voice saying lung. Take another little piece of my lung. No, baby. If you lose a lung, average person uses 30% of their lung capacity.
You're thinking brain.
Oh,
I just feel like I was using.
That's true.
I just got up to 33%. That's what the bummer is here.
Well, if you lose a lung, you can probably get that other lung operating at like 70, 75%, and you'll be breathing better than you ever breathed before.
I'm going to hang out with you more. That's a positive spin if I ever heard one.
So they tell you most likely won't need chemo. That was the big news last week.
Yeah, I don't buy it. I'm not believing anything my husband does ever.
Chemo is super weird.
Because maybe your husband lied about the word yet because you were going to stop juicing. You know what I mean?
Well,
have you been juicing?
He bought a juicer.
Ooh.
Okay, done.
It's loose.
I have been juicing. It was only $30 for this juicer. Yeah. So we've been juicing. Now here's what happened. Okay. So I don't know what I ate or drank, but Wednesday night was a fucking nightmare. I lost all of Thursday. So here's what happens with what's my disease called? Thymoma. It affects your bowels. I was up all night, crying. Not crying. I couldn't cry because it hurt too much.
Okay, so that's the good news.
Yeah. So my belly on top, where you get gas?
Yeah.
Out. What I'm thinking is past my boobs, but I don't even know how that could happen. And then it could, and I'm in the bathroom. The sink is on right next to me. My hand is under the water to have some cold. Plus I'm sweating. Plus I'm putting it on me.
The water.
Yeah. Plus I'm calling Munchkin Face. Please come to the bathroom. And I'm just looking up at him like, I can't deal with this anymore. I don't know. I'm sorry that you're in here watching me shit, but I just can't. When does it end? Just please make it end. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so traumatizing for this person. I'm just like, what am I doing? And then I would just go in the shower because the water would ease me. And I would just be like, oh no, it's coming back again. And I would just like all night, 24 hours, I didn't eat. How was stuff still coming out of my body? It was so ridiculous. Here's the thing. If I want to believe that if I didn't know there was a tumor inside me, that would be like, hey, something's wrong.
Right.
But I think this has happened before. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm 40. I guess things are just going to get fucked up from now on. That's what I thought. That's the thought. Even though I'm in perfect health, everything checks out. I eat fine. Why am I I'm like, I guess meat, they say red. And then I check out people my age. I'm like, are you having is your stomach being a little more sensitive now that you're older? Yeah, of course. And I'm like, well, he's eating McDonald's.
Right.
I'm not eating McDonald's. Your stomach should be fucked up. And I didn't even put that together because you want to be healthy so bad.
I regret you going off the mic for that. I wanted to hear that straight into my ears. You got to give me that.
So that's kind of my update.
Right. So when's the next doctor appointment?
Monday morning.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm taking a couple breathing tests, which, by the way, you didn't know I would have to take breathing tests? You
Right.
didn't know? We have to wait yet another goddamn week.
And then they say it on you, like, why didn't you take a breathing test?
Oh, the insurance?
No, just they'll just say, why didn't you do it?
Oh,
know
I
what I
didn't
mean?
get that yet. Jesus Christ.
You'll get it, sure.
I'm taking 2 different kinds of breathing tests on Monday. Then I have to come back Tuesday or Wednesday for results where they're going to tell me the next thing to do. But I'm like, I know you're not going to tell me. I know that I will not know when this tumor gets out until 2018 when I had enough doctor's appointments.
Right.
Right?
Can you sit them down and go, listen, just tell me the fucking answer now. And you can jack up whatever you want on insurance on your side. I don't care. Charge my company $1 million. Take them out of business. Whatever you want.
But I don't know why everything's proceeding this way.
Right.
I don't understand it, and I don't want to be mean to anyone who's gonna open me up and take shit out.
I think you have the right to totally be. You can ask for clarification. Like,
I'm gonna ask,
and
it's
it's
gonna be
what the hell?
Yeah.
Right.
Aren't you in a rush? It's not cancer yet. Do you know what yet means?
Right.
Time. Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, you can have a little attitude. They're gonna care or not care at the end. And they have when they do the surgery, other people are around. When other people are around, you try to show that you're the best. It's like I said before when I was a waiter. If I would spit or shit in somebody's food, it was always me alone by myself. There was never. Out of over that decade of waiting tables, that another waiter said, yeah, shit in their food. No one's on your side. So other people will be around. It won't matter how you treated him. He's going to do his best.
I don't know. I think subconsciously, again, just like parents are human beings, doctors are human beings, and I think they care more about one patient over another just naturally. Not in a huge way, not in a I'll kill you and I'll save you way, but...
And then the amateur therapist in me wants to ask you, well, what is it? Is this what your parents did to you?
Oh, my parents did everything to me.
Okay.
No, they didn't. But is this what my parents did to me? Yeah,
Meaning that you felt that you were not being chosen.
Oh.
Meaning that you felt that you were not being treated as special as somebody else
Well,
was possibly around.
Well, here's the Chemda's problem.
That's interesting that's your go-to assumption is that they're not going to prefer me.
Chemda was told her whole life she's part of the chosen people. And then when things don't work out, chosen for what? A tumor? You know what I mean? It throws her. That's all.
God loves me.
Right.
I was treated differently. I was raised in a Middle Eastern home. I have 2 brothers, and being a female is definitely different.
Yes.
What else you got?
Oh, so much. Well, first of all,
How often do you go to therapy?
me, twice a week. I'm going to not only individual therapy, which, by the way, my therapist used to be a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually fantastic.
Right? Because he understands your life.
He understands my life, but also like that's why he's a therapist is because
So screwed up.
because he was a comedian, so he knows what it means. He's from Brooklyn. He knows the combination of things that has to happen to you for you to be like, I'm gonna be funny.
Isn't this weird?
What?
That a therapist is better when they come from where you come from.
Yeah, because they have life experience.
But isn't that interesting? You would think that like knowledge about the brain would be able to connect you to other people and therapize them at least.
Well,
you know what I mean?
you can have knowledge about the brain, but you also have to have actual experiences to apply that knowledge to.
It's just interesting that that's necessary as a human being. I feel like, we should evolve past that.
Yeah, I need a therapist who was a flight attendant. What do you have for me?
And he was an EMT too, so a lot of different things.
And what's your second therapist?
A second therapist is a couples therapist, which has been enlightening and frightening.
Is it you and this girlfriend or a different girl?
It's him and his mom.
Me and this girlfriend. Technically, couples therapy kind of is about you and your mom a lot when it comes down to it, because that's who taught you what women are most of the time. Most relationships are somebody wishing to be reparented. So it's like that person, that mother or father, is the person that gave us the emotional language, just like they gave us actual language. They gave you the language with which you communicate.
What did your parents do to you?
Well, boom, 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 digga, boom, digga, doom, digga, doom, digga, doom, digga, doom, digga, doom. Well, they were. Well, my father left before I was born.
Well, my father left before I was born.
I know it sounds like now it's a blues song. My daddy left before I was born. Made my mama sad. She was so forlorn. You don't hear the word forlorn in the blues a lot.
I was born a poor white child.
Yeah. Well, here's the things that happened. My father left. My mother was young. They were both young. My mom was 19. My father was maybe 20 or 21. He left. So my great-grandparents raised me until my mom got out of college. Took her about 6 years because she was working a full-time job at the exact same time. Then we moved from the little shit stain of a town we were in New Mexico to Las Vegas, Nevada, which is where I grew up mostly. And because of all of these things, these emotional abuses, my mother became an addict. So I was raised by an addict.
What was she addicted to?
Good old alcohol. The legal stuff.
I think, alcohol is so rough because it is legal and because people can function and because they can hide it, or it doesn't matter. Like, people smell like booze. It's not like meth where you do it once and you're a criminal and a deviant and whatever.
Right, which I think is also, inaccurate for meth. I think if you're an addict, you're a person that needs help. You're not necessarily a criminal,
No, I mean...
Put them in jail!
Well, that's where you
Well, I'm not
go.
saying you're saying that. I'm saying that society, the system's broken.
Broken!
The system is broken. That's the title of this episode. System is broken. So the system is also J.R.R. Tolkien. Right, guys?
Does this happen in therapy?
Definitely. And he's like, all right, enough with the puns. How are you feeling?
I was always curious about couples therapy in that, do you find like, hey, I'm gonna, you don't necessarily go in there like, to be the winner, but do you ever, you say, hey, I get to get this off my chest. It's a deep thing. And then you realize therapy's over and now you have to deal with it. It's like, no, we wait till next week.
Well, that does happen. There are some things where it's just like, look, the thing is that I wanted to go to therapy because, we both wanted to go. But the reason I said is because I felt like we were at the end of our language. We were at the end of our understanding how a relationship works. And because I grew up in a lot of abuse and stuff, and so did she. So it's hard to not project that.
Right.
So I got mommy issues and I'm projecting on her. She's got daddy issues that she's protecting on me. And then basically my mom and her dad are in a fight in our relationship.
What kind of drunk was your mom?
A mean one. I'm still learning like all these different things that I am attached to. For instance, I constantly have piles of papers around my place. And that has to do with Well, that has to do with like in some sort of way.
Is Chemda hiding her papers?
Don't hide your papers. Show us your papers. I'm kind of recreating an environment that I grew up in where there's just piles of crap everywhere that I'm afraid to move because I was always told to put things back where I got them, even if where they were didn't make any sense. So it's like I'm always like, I'm going to get punished if I move things.
Oh, wow. Really?
So there's like it's like simple, but that's still in there.
Ugh, we're so stupid, aren't we?
I
mean, you know it, and you have to still undo it.
A friend of mine told me...
Tonight I want you to go home, take a pile of papers, throw them around the room.
Throw them around the room and just dance like you've never danced before. Someone told me the other day that she told me this concept of 4 stages of learning. You ever heard of this? Mm-mm. Okay, so the first stage is unconscious incompetence. You don't know, and you don't know that you don't know, right? Second stage is conscious incompetence, where you now know that you're an idiot, but you don't know what to do about it.
And you have to make a choice of...
That takes you to the third stage, which is conscious competence, right? Where it's like, because in conscious incompetence, you're like, all right, I know things are wrong. I don't know what they are. I don't know what I'm fucked up about. I just know that I am fucked up in some way. But you don't exactly have the tools or the patience with yourself to try to make different choices. Then, when you get that, you make different choices, but it's not easy. It's not second nature. You have to force yourself to do things. It doesn't feel right, doesn't feel natural, and that's conscious competence. where it's just sort of like, all right, I know I have to make a different choice. It sucks. It hurts. It doesn't feel right. But you do that enough, you get to the fourth stage, which is unconscious competence, where now you don't have to think about it. It's just second nature to you now. You've kind of retrained yourself.
What's the biggest thing you've had to retrain?
The biggest thing I've had to retrain is, well, basically I didn't know that I thought, I have this deep shame about being a man because men hurt my mom, men hurt my grandmother, and I went, I'm a man, all I can do is destroy things, right? So I've had to learn to let that go because I saw it as an inevitability. No matter what situation I'm in, somehow I'm going to fuck it up.
Did your mother tell you you were a fuck up?
Yeah. I mean, she didn't have to tell me. She just treated me that way because I was the reminder of what happened to her, that she was abandoned. And then I looked like the dude.
Oh.
And then so I would assume it was complex for her, and the only way to make her not feel that was to drown it.
And I assume she wasn't in therapy learning the new words to associate what looking at your child.
How could she be?
Yeah.
First of all,
Was she raped, by the way, or just abandoned?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. Because that's not a thing that mothers really do tell their sons.
Yeah, but do you wonder if you're a product of rape?
I know that I'm not, because she told me that they were in a relationship for a year. This is all stuff I literally just found out this year, by the way.
Wow.
Why? Because you finally wanted to ask?
Yeah, because my family, I'm actually making a documentary in which I'm going to find and track down my birth father, my biological father.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's Grace and Frankie. Oh, my goodness.
Adopted.
You know, if we wanted, you can have a brunch for you.
Yes, exactly.
It's a little Easter egg.
And then, and then me looking at Sam Waterston being like, yeah, sure, that's great. Well, I mean, the thing is that, like, she, she was 19, so it's just sort of like, because I'm not angry about, like, what happened now, because they were kids that made a couple of choices, and they were afraid of whatever the hell they were afraid of, and the way that they decided to deal with it is this way. Because a lot of people get like, oh, are you angry you didn't have a dad? I'm like, you know what? A lot of guys who leave their families, sometimes they made the right choice. They weren't going to be a good dad. They weren't going to be present. They might have been abusive. They might have been all these different things, but they made the decision, I can't do this. And maybe it was right, for a lot of people that like, you know what? This kid's going to be better off without me here. Right. Because sometimes just being present isn't good enough. You can be there physically, but not psychologically, right? And then you have this zombie that's raising you, and that gives you a whole different set of issues.
And that's the best case scenario with the zombie.
Yeah.
A worst case scenario is fights and hitting and
exactly.
parents and
but at the same but then having somebody who's completely absent and not emotionally available to you gives you that's understanding for people. Oh, no one is ever going to be emotionally available. So why would I even ever ask that of another person? Why would I even ever expect that from another person? And you know what? I'm not going to be emotionally available either. This'll work.
When you do your documentary, are you going to surprise your dad with the camera because you want the honest reaction? But that's weird.
I mean, honestly, he doesn't know I'm making it. Obviously, sure. So he might be like, "Oh no, I don't want to be in that. I don't want my I got a business to run. I don't want my face out there as a guy who did this." I don't know yet because I haven't talked to him yet.
Did you talk to your mom, and is she sober?
Yes, my mom's been sober for a long time now.
Wow.
She got sober when I was in college, so it's been almost, I can't remember how old. I don't want to do math right now.
So about 15 years?
Yes, that's
College?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Did she apologize and say why she's sorry?
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah?
We hashed it out, man. Like, my mom is honestly, she's like one of my best friends now. You know, like, she's the first person I run my material by when I have new jokes. Right. And, like, we talk about anything, and the thing is
polyamory?
I have talked to her about that, yeah. And she doesn't understand it, right. but she's supportive.
Okay.
But, the thing is that, like, when I was a kid...
Sorry, is she upset, like, the man she was with abandoned her, and you're like, but I'm going to have 6? Do you know what I mean?
I definitely have never said, but I'm going to have 6. I've definitely never said nor thought that, because that's the thing. Look, polyamory is just it's a philosophy, but it's not a requirement.
Right.
It's not like I gotta have bitches in my pocket and somewhere I lock it. That's how I know I rock it, because I got a gun in my pants. Just help me cock it, yeah.
That's not real.
That's something I just made up, guys. Who am I, Mike Kaplan?
Wait, did
what?
you seriously just make that up?
Oh yeah, of
Oh, I
course.
thought it was real.
Wouldn't it be amazing if it was real? Yeah, it's Young Thug.
I thought it was too good because
Too good. I've never heard of him.
your rhyming was different words, and that's how I knew it wasn't real.
It's not Eminem he's doing.
Still doesn't make any sense. Okay, here's the thing. I was not told anything. My family talked so little about the past, I didn't even know we weren't talking about the past, right? And it's just this secret. And this is black stuff. This is what I understand now, because black people, we're not taught about mental health. We're not taught about all these different things. And these are the things I understand now. You know, like I grew up like Southern Baptist, so the way that you dealt with things was like, you need to go to church and pray on that. And I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work.
I think that's a lot of ethnicities.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know, even like now that I'm going to the doctor and they're like, what's your family history? I'm like, my parents don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
My father doesn't want to say the word diabetes. Like this, I
And
gotta
that's
know
shame.
what you have.
That's shame, you know, and that stays, and you pass it on to the next generation.
Yeah.
The fact that they never talked about these things made me think that these are things that can't be talked about or can't be understood. And they didn't tell me because I was super young, and they went, you know what, he's too young to understand. Let's just not talk about it. And then suddenly I'm 20. And it's just, I've been kept in the dark for so long. So honestly, like my mom telling me all the things that happened to her in college is helping me let it go. Because keeping me in the dark is what keeps me a child psychologically, keeps me a child emotionally. So now,
and keeps your relationship very much parent and child instead of like parent and adult.
Exactly. And so getting this information, being able to let it go, helps me let go of my mommy issues.
But did you
helps
go to
me,
Al-Anon?
No, I never went to Al-Anon.
Why not?
I just didn't.
Did she go to AA?
Yes.
Did she recommend Al-Anon?
I think she did. I went to some meetings with her, and which was great because her group was great. But like it's like,
and it's good that if somebody you know is there, because if it's a dead crowd, you can focus on that one person you know.
yeah, exactly. Are they laughing? Because as we all know, the program is all about humor. But that's not a true statement. Just no letters.
No, it is. Retweet. Retweet. Too late.
Don't retweet that.
It's like, that is not a true statement. They are very, very boring. And I fell asleep twice with my mom.
No way. Those meetings, some of those meetings are awesome.
Well, because it's just people, you know, who are trying to work on themselves. That's all it is. You know, people who are just like, all right, look, I had some problems and now I'm moving past those problems and I'm talking about the problems, because not talking about it is what keeps you in the shame cycle. Not talking about is what keeps that secret inside. It turns into shame.
The best part about being in those meetings is you say something that you are so fully like fucked up about, and as you're saying it, all the heads are just nodding, and you're like, for real, all this time I've just been like in my head about this one sentence that like it's just me being a freak and like me being just this way, and then all the heads are nodding and you're like, okay.
And that's the power of shame. That's the power of the brain.
Do you find people go up there and do their speech or their talk, and they try to get the most I'll go just to pander, and I'm like, it's crazy out there. And I'm like, yes.
Like it's church.
I don't remember it, honestly. It was like maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, I go into tongues.
You go into tongues. You start, girls in my pocket. You know I got a rocket. And some just wear a locket. It's a smoking barrel. It's lock and stock it, girl.
Going back real quick, you're right about how guys, when we date, we can't help but have our mom in the back of our heads. I remember when I started dating, who my wife is now, and I'd say, make that good sandwich I like. And I'm like, every Sunday you make the good sandwich. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, let's go get help.
Make that good sandwich. I like. I love that. Like, first of all, you got to get that on a T-shirt. That's just a great T-shirt. Make that a great T-shirt.
And in the back, it'll be about that rapper you like, Too Good.
Yeah, the number 2, G-U-D.
I mean, duh.
Yeah, of course.
How else would you spell that?
I don't even remember what I was talking about, but I think we discussed it.
I think we covered
fair,
it all.
yeah.
And you're leaving here a better person.
I hope so.
Speaking of Mike Kaplan, don't forget KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. He does his Hangout with me. He also has Super Hang, and that's on the Keith and the Girl Network. Mike hangs out with Maggie Sirota and Danny Hatch on the Keith and the Girl Network. The episode is called Have Better Heroes. So a lot to think about.
Yeah, you do need to have better heroes.
Yeah, he's very detailed with the description. I got a lot out of that. Thank you. Gratuitous with Nick Turner, episode 1 is up, where Nick Turner and his pals go out, and what can you do in the city that's free? And they do something free, and then tell you the shenanigans that happen.
Oh.
In this episode, the boys get high and go to the Natural History Museum. Well, you can't do that sober, of course. That's with Will Miles.
Well, it's natural. You smoke the natural stuff. You go see some natural shit.
Our buddy Chris Laker is on that episode.
Oh, Will Miles is great. Nick Turner's great as well, by the way.
Chris Laker. Just kidding.
Chris, I don't know that well, but I'm sure he's also great.
He is awesome. Really great
Is he
dude.
from Minnesota?
What?
I don't think so.
We
No.
don't like the Lakers.
No, he's from the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Chemda, you're taking
Or
this...
Staten Island, sorry.
Chemda, I think you're taking this seriously.
He's from New York.
It's all good. It's all good.
Thank you.
I'm just making phone calls. I'm going to get to the bottom of where he's from. No, not looking like Minnesota. Also, a new episode of Libby's show. And this one's called Behind the Camping. Of course, it's the Wrap It Up show, but this is a special edition where she tells you behind the scenes of Keith and the Girl. And this one is about the camping experience. Libby is joined by guest Andrea Allen and the great Danny Hatch. Together, they discuss the camping MVPs, getting high on life, and squeezing a couple segments between Andrea and Danny's constant bickering.
Oh, Jesus.
And, of course, you'll see promos at KeithAndTheGirl.com.
This promo does not put you in the best light.
It does not. It certainly does not.
No,
We're camping and having a good time, and it talks about me in a bad light. It puts Andrea in a bad light.
That's true. That's true.
I fall down. Look at this. Look at that. I fell down.
Oh, nice bruise.
Thank you.
That's like a week later.
Did you name it?
Bruisey.
He named it Tumor because he's so jealous.
I think the tumor's trying to get
You
out.
should name it Bruise Willis.
Andrea's
And you should name your tumor Willis. Because there's another Willis named Rumor. All right, good night.
I'm trying to separate us more and more. That's the only problem. Otherwise, I like it.
MJG is saying that Libby makes me feel mean.
Yeah, right? So Andrea's one of these people. You fall down, just burst out laughing.
Shouldn't even wait a second.
Now, is that? I think this should be the poll. Are you one of these animals that just laugh when somebody gets hurt immediately? Or do you think for a second, oh, you got... Because I'm not. For people thinking I'm mean... And obviously, we have a comedy show. I don't know. I see somebody fall. I don't... Unless they... Like, if they fall and then they keep trying to catch themselves for an hour, that's funny.
Oh, so if you're in Family Guy.
Right. It's like, you don't know how to ski. Just fall down.
I mean,
But if somebody falls
Just
right...
keep on the sideline. Fall already!
Right.
You don't know how to do this.
Just let it go. Right. I almost have it. That could be funny. But if there's no time to think and you laugh right away, you're a psychopath.
I mean, what is laughter but crying in reverse?
Okay.
What?
Both of those reactions is her going, I feel for you. Let me rock you, Shaka Khan.
This is what you learn when you have a therapist that's a comedian. I don't like it.
Benham.
You ever heard, I met this dude named Dr. Peter McGraw. Shout out to Hurl. That's the Humor Research Laboratory in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sure.
He came up with a unified theory for laughter.
Okay.
We laugh when we experience a benign violation.
Okay.
Good pause. So
I'm trying to feel what that means.
well, exactly, because I asked him, well, what do you define benign and what do you define a violation? He's like, that's the trick, because it's different for every single person.
If you don't have a tumor, you could laugh. Benign.
Possibly. So to her, it's a violation. Someone fell, but it's benign because it's not her.
Right.
So she can go, oh, snap.
But we're all one people. It should kind of be her.
And another person might not see that as benign. They might be like, oh, a person's hurt and not think it's funny at all.
A normal person.
You know what's funny is when
Keith, you would laugh if somebody. Come on.
I don't know.
When we hang out with Andrea, we're just like, wow, you really were. Andrea has been listening to the show since she was like 13 or something.
Oh, goodness.
And she has been influenced by Keith. She's a stand-up now.
Horrible.
And sometimes, I know it's all like leading to just some kind of weird suicide. But so she's on stage and I'm like, whoa. She's been influenced by Keith, right? And she's off stage and she does things like laugh at him when he falls. And I'm like,
she's still watching the show.
You did that.
She's watching the show, Keith.
And the thing is we call her a female version of Keith. But I always thought that she was like the nice version. But then I hear about this. Yeah. She couldn't stop laughing.
Couldn't stop laughing as I'm being walked to my tent.
The whole camping trip, she's like, did you see Keith fall? Bah! And she describes it. She's like, he almost had it. But then I was like, no, he's not going to. It describes in slow-mo as if it happened 50 times and then ends it in dice.
Yeah. I mean, because it's not a podcast. You can't just re-listen to it. So she has to repeat it. She has to hit that 15 seconds ago button in her head over. Did you see it? Let me recap.
It's like that new song you'll be singing until you get home.
Yeah, you mean, bitches in my pocket. You know I got it. All right.
Now I want to call the show Bitches in My Pocket.
There you go.
God damn.
MJG is saying, that's Chemda's Trials and Tribulation. MJG is saying the new VIP shows are killing it. We have so much going on over there. KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. It's our premium content. Also with all these new special shows, you hear every Keith and the Girl show we've ever done. For example, do you want to hear the first time Baron Vaughn was on? That's episode 1159.
You laughed the same way we brought it up the first time.
Well, I just remember it because I was so quiet. That's all I remember.
What happened that day?
I was super nervous. I mean, Victor Varnado was here,
right.
and you guys have a clear chemistry with him.
Hannibal Buress
Was quiet, but anything he said was hilarious.
Right.
That's true, and he usually is that person. Like,
yeah.
He'll just drop the beautiful thing.
And that was when we had just done the Awkward Comedy show. So that was like, and Marina Franklin was here too. So it was like, and she brought her new boyfriend at the time.
All right, sitting on the couch, I think. And
she had a new boy toy that was there. So she was kind of in the zone because she was like, I just got some. I flotsam then I jetsam.
But it went away fast. Do you remember the tension? Because she thought I was talking to you too much. It started, so I have to talk to somebody, and I'm saying, hey, I just happened to see Black Dynamite. It's genius, blah blah. And she goes, when are you going to ask me questions? I go, how did you enjoy being in Black Dynamite?
I don't remember it exactly. I mean, I wish there was a way to listen to that episode again.
Ask Andrea.
Well, this is what's funny. You can hear episode 1159, the Awkward Comedy Show from 2010.
Oh, my goodness.
By going to KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP.
You like how I brought that back?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I would like to point out that me and Marina were not good on that show. We had, speaking of awkward comedy, I mean, the show was called Awkward Comedy. Such a good show.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I kind of got into a thing with Marina on that show.
Yeah, I think you guys actually like each other. That's why you guys hated each other. You might be similar in some ways.
And a smile is a frown upside down.
Wait, I don't get that.
Well, they say sometimes you see the qualities in another person that you dislike about yourself. So then I think that the two of you actually have a lot of similarities, and that's why you guys didn't get along, because you're like, no, I'm the person that's like this.
I had no idea we have a lot in common.
So I'm just making shit up.
I really only know her kind of secondhand through Victor Varnado. We met almost 20 years ago, but haven't had a relationship.
You're both incredibly kind people. That's why it was interesting for me to see that happen.
All right, so listen to that show and see if you hear kind people in the room.
What kind of people?
Okay, I had since I had not seen her after that show for years, really, or we had been in the room and sort of kind of avoided each other. Always made me feel bad because I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I'm not even sure if she's on the same page with me about this, but she seems to be. If I could see her in a room full of comics, then she could probably see me. We're not saying hello to each other. And you're saying we're both so similar? I had no idea.
It's possible that you're similar.
What happened was, not that long ago, a few months ago, I hung out with Bonnie McFarlane. She invited me to dinner with a few of her friends that I had never met, and some that I have met. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It's a girl dinner. She likes to put these things together. And boom, Marina's there. It's the first time we had been confronted where we had to sit in a table, and we can't ignore. We can't pretend like we're not there.
Chemda does a spit take, but with salad.
But
Oh, what, the kale?
so I got really nervous. We're walking over to the table, and I'm like, I'm not sure how she feels about me. I know our last interaction was really not good. That was not good.
You'll hear it all on the
oh,
show, by the way.
It was horrendous. And so
Wow.
Yeah.
I blocked it out
Yeah,
to
you
a
did.
certain extent.
it was really bad. It was just unbelievable. It was like, what is happening over here? And so then I'm like, what's going to happen? And I got to say, she did really well. She's I'm going to give it to her because I didn't do it. And I was too nervous. And so I was like, really?
But would it upset you if she said to you, really, was there was something that day? I don't even know. Would
We
that
didn't
bother
say
you?
that. What she said was, "Hey, Chemda, good to see you." Like she turned around to me. She made sure that before we sat down, she said hi, and I was like, "Oh shit, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. If we're gonna go, fine. Let's start over. Let's like.
I mean, it's been years.
It's so stupid.
And both of you have probably grown up a lot since then as well.
I hope so, but so now.
Keith is looking at you like, no, not at all.
Well, I'll tell you what. The way you say this, like you're trying to be diplomatic and you're
I am.
blaming. No, I mean Baron. He's trying to blame two people. Chemda was not out of line at all.
I don't even remember it.
I do.
Here's the thing.
I masturbate to it.
That's how I remember it, but I don't want to repeat it like that because I haven't heard it in 5 years. I was really upset after that show. I thought she was belittling my work and my studio. I thought she was belittling me and what I do because she walked in and she's like, "Oh, look how cute." And I'm like, "Come on, man. We've been talking about this forever."
What is it? What do you guys do? Like I don't know. We've been talking a half hour already.
It was also like before anyone really understood what podcasting
I hear what you're
was.
saying now.
Because you guys are outliers. You're so ahead of the curve in a way that many people are not. So like back then, it was like I can understand what somebody's like, oh, this is a thing, and not understanding that it's an empire.
It's just interesting that it wasn't
a culture.
You or anyone else that day halfway through the show going, look at these mics.
Well, because I
Good for you.
understood from the moment I walked in there, just like this is a big deal. Like this is a very popular show, so it's like, all right, well, I better be on.
Right, because other than asking last minute if we have pets, you are respectful and you are professional.
Here's the thing. I almost didn't want to bring this up today because I don't want that to be what's out there, that like we don't get along and whatever. I want to see Marina again and like just talk to her like she's any other comic.
Yeah, I think that like I feel like it
feels so sad and dumb. And I'm hoping like it's been 5 years. Let's just.
And she probably feels the same way. She's like, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit of an asshole or something. Then who knows? Who knows?
Right. And we're not in a lot of the same circles, so I can't bump into her as often as I would like to just normalize it.
Seems like
That's
some
all.
Twitter DMing needs to go down.
It's so weird. Hey, remember 5 years ago? We're friends now, right?
Right. It's 6, by the way.
6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, so check out the show. Tell us how to play it. We don't know how to interact with people normally. All right, so here's what you want to do.
Please don't make it weird on Twitter, you guys. Come on. Like, I'm already like, ugh.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely don't.
Yeah, definitely do not.
Definitely.
All right, I think we solved that. All right, good. Speaking of Twitter, if you want to follow Baron, it's at Bar Vaughn Block.
Yeah, BARVONBLAQ. That's
Baron Vaughn Black. And the website, baronvaughn.com, VAUGHN.
Wait. I just want to talk about one thing before we go.
Okay.
The New Negroes.
Yes.
What's this?
The New Negroes is a show that I do monthly in Los Angeles. We're going to be doing it at the New York Comedy Festival November 3rd. It's a show I co-host with a fantastic rapper named Open Mike Eagle. And it's essentially, just like the Awkward Comedy Show, which was a all-black showcase, but like people who are outside of what most people would think black is. Just like that, the New Negroes is my incarnation of it. The New Negro is a term from the Harlem Renaissance. There was a book called that. That was a publication that had like Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston and all these different writers in it that sort of launched the ideological and literary movement. So I'm co-opting that and putting dick jokes in it.
Does it ever make you feel weird to hear someone say the name?
Yes and no. I mean, because look, the thing about Negro is that was the word. Black didn't start until the 70s, really, which was the same for African American, which is basically something Jesse Jackson just forced on everybody. But so Negro was the word that Martin Luther King Jr. used, he never, that's the word he always used, was Negroes. Negroes here in the South. That's my best MLK that I got. My milk.
This is another weird question. Do you think we should say Negroes?
Yes, but not with that hard S, Chemda, please.
Yeah, I think you definitely should say it. I mean, look, it's...
Oh, you just confused some people.
I think it's a word...
Let me speak.
But the thing about it is, like, that's exactly the thing, is that everyone is so afraid to not say... Everyone's so afraid to say the wrong thing that they don't want to say anything.
They know the right thing. It's black and that's it. What the fuck? We don't know what to say.
I prefer black myself, but a lot of people like African American. It depends. So look, I use that word for this show. I don't use it in my everyday life, but ostensibly I look at that word because I see the people that used it in the past, and they were always leaders and philosophers and thinkers. And so it was a means of talking about black people before we had black, which is like we are Negroes. And it's a very different word than that other word that everyone's really afraid of.
Sure.
So I'll say that. Sure, there's N's and G's, but so that's true of ginger. So,
I won't even say that. Ginger. Now, but yes.
Now we found the title.
Ginger, please.
Guys, I want you to try this for a week, right? Use the word Negro. Like, let's say, hey, excuse me, have you seen my friend? He's tall, Negro. And see how that goes. And maybe Baron's right.
You might get punched in the face, but you'll learn.
Say Negro and people will think you're like
Spanish.
Latin or something.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a monthly LA show, The New Negroes, which, by the way, at the UCB on the 25th.
Yeah.
Is this in New York or LA?
LA.
LA. So that's in LA.
Yeah.
Then in New York, November 3rd,
Yes.
you'll be performing.
Yeah. At the Bell House.
At the Bell House. All right. And also, by the way, a new album's coming out. Black Existential Crisis.
Yeah.
That's going to be the title of mine. I'm glad October 7th. All right. And then just keep track of his website and Twitter, and you'll be reminded. Okay?
Yeah. If you wish to be reminded.
Baron, I know you had like 2 minutes in New York, and I really appreciate you coming in.
I'm happy I could make it.
Yeah. You know what? It's been so long. Love talking to you.
There was a attractive woman I met in Denver who was like, you should do Keith and the Girl again. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. Now, what do you mean by attractive? Do you know what I mean?
She was attractive.
I don't know. What could it mean? I guess her aura. Baron, we'll see you in another 6 years. This was fantastic.
Can't wait. If the world's still here.